hosts, Havoc, and we have LX as our other host.
Hey, everybody.
All right, man. So what are we talking about this week?
I don't know. We got a few things, I guess. Nothing since we don't have any notes, since we're both complete slackers in that department.
Planning sucks. It's terrible. You should never do it, except, well, you probably should. We probably should. I should. Someone should. But, I just don't.
Did you end up getting your taxes done last week at least?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Good.
Got that done. And another work trip. Yay.
Oh. Did you go anywhere special?
No. I actually flew into Milwaukee because I absolutely detest O'Hare. It was funny sitting in the airport. There were like, 4 or 5 people in this little restaurant place I was at that were all delayed, 4 or 5 hours coming into O'Hare. And my one of my colleagues coming in from Tampa was also delayed by 3 hours. So I flew into Milwaukee. It's an hour drive. I still got there, well ahead of them for travel time, etc. I can't stand that airport. And then, took an Uber down to Chicago and pretty much got there, grabbed something to eat, went in my hotel room, fell asleep, woke up at 6:30, got ready, went to my meetings, and from there, back to Milwaukee Airport, airplane. So, yeah, lots of fun, super enjoyable, not. But, hey, it is what it is, right?
You're glad to be home, I'm sure.
Oh, without question. Travel is, it used to be fun when I was younger. It's just, it's not business travel, that is. Typically, it's not. It can be, we go somewhere that I haven't been and, see something, or you have a little extra time here, or, like a dinner event or something, then it's fun. But outside of that, it's literally work for, all day and night for the period you're gone,
Yeah, I've never really traveled for very much, so I don't know. I've been on an airplane twice.
Yeah.
It was interesting. It was interesting. How did TSA do you? They give you the old probing this time, or did you breeze through there again?
Yeah, still no sexy time for me, man. But I still walk up to him and same thing. Oh, please step around. I'm like, yeah, I'd prefer not to. This time the lady coming out of Milwaukee was just like, well, going in through Charlotte, the lady was very nice, the TSA agent. She was really cool, and she was like, yeah, I totally get it. And, just little quick conversation, trying, I can't hold up the line. And then coming out of Milwaukee, same thing. The lady was like, yep, totally get it. And, just quick, easy, went straight through, no problem.
Nice.
Yeah. Which, for me, I think one of the annoying things now is based on the scanning equipment they have for your bags and stuff. It depends on what airport you go into. Does my laptop have to come out, or can it stay in? Do my liquids have to come out? Do they have to stay in? Does everything go in a bin, or do the bags go on the rollers? And it's all convoluted right now.
Oh, it's not uniform like everywhere. They got.
No,
I see.
No, some of the bigger airports have really nice scanners, so you just leave everything in your bags and scan it right through. Some of them are a little bit more behind, and you have to take your laptop out, and some of them are, well, let's just say old, and that's where you got to take the liquids out and everything, blah blah blah.
Is that why you don't like O'Hare, or is it for another reason?
No, O'Hare and Atlanta are the 2 airports that I avoid at all costs. Unless I'm on vacation or something, and even then I really try and avoid them. It's just the amount of delays.
I see.
They're both those are the 2 airports when I was traveling all the time for work that I constantly ended up delayed, missing connections, missing flights, etc. because, ground stops from weather or whatever the case is.
So hopefully you don't have to go on another one for a while.
We'll see. Hopefully not. But, I think at this point now I'm pretty much limited to, if I have to travel again, it'll be Chicago. So fly into Milwaukee, no big deal.
Yeah. Nice. They do the same deal. Yeah, it didn't seem like it went too badly.
It's just hard, because I left here, I don't know, we left the house at 6 something, got to the airport, got on my airplane, got to Milwaukee. By the time I got in, it was, 10:45. And then, like I said, I'm up at like 6:30 in the morning for meetings starting at 8. And it's just, it's tough, right? You don't feel like you get that period of time to rest, right?
I probably wouldn't do very good at that.
No, you probably would not. There's people involved.
It's also way past my bedtime.
Yeah.
I used to stay up kind of late. I mean, for a little while when I was playing that game that we used to play.
Yeah,
setting alarms and all that crap, waking up at all kinds of ridiculous hours of the night.
Yeah, I used to get like no sleep at certain times.
Yeah, man.
Sure.
I don't miss that much. That part that much at all, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, there's a certain amount of camaraderie and things like that are around those periods of time. But yeah, being a slave to that it's tough, man. It gets old real quick.
I mean,
you guys didn't have to worry about half the crap that like we did. I mean, how many times do you guys actually, and in honest, get bubbled? Like really bubbled and have to worry about cooldowns?
Not much.
Like
every once in a while.
Yeah, right. And then it was like, yeah, if you do that again, we will just wipe your entire team off the map. And if you team, we'll wipe that one off the map, right? For us, it was kind of like, damn it, now we got 12 hours. We got to sit here watching thing while we get pounded on,
Yeah, no, there was definitely some retaliatory repercussions for people who did that kind of thing, and it did tend to deter that type of activity just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit, right?
I mean, not entirely, but it, for the most part,
pretty close to pretty early. Yeah.
Yeah. There's I don't know. It was pretty similar to a lot of like world events that we have going on now. I mean, to be completely honest with you, it paralleled it quite closely. You could learn a lot.
Don't touch the people with nukes. It really just applies, right? I mean,
right.
I mean, obviously no nukes in the game, but it's essentially the same damn thing.
Yeah. No, I'm sure there's people that were regretting their decisions at at some point because they most of them, if not all of them, ceased to exist at some point after that. I mean, it might have taken a while, but it was the general outcome most of the time.
I will say that it was probably a good idea that you guys stopped adding to that list. Like, the activity didn't stop, but you stopped adding to the list at some point.
Maybe they ran out of characters on the description. I'm not really sure.
Could have been. Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, you gave me a little bit of exciting news that you got like a whole list of people that want to, from War Dragons that want to come on the podcast and talk about stuff. I find that exciting.
So do I. I think it's absolutely amazing. Some really cool people. It'll be interesting to hear perspectives on, some of them have apparently gone back to the game very recently. Most have quit and gone on to do whatever they do, and it'll be interesting to hear perspectives on what leaving was like, what kind of ate up their time, or whatever, and then just some general conversation, get to know people, just tell some cool stories, bullshit a little bit, and have fun.
Yeah, I mean, I know for me it certainly left what you could only describe as a void of something that like you had to fill up with something else, like a big space of time that you no longer employed, and then I found various outlets to take up for that time. Yeah, I'd be curious to see what everybody else did and what drove certain people to take back up at it. an interesting decision.
Yeah, I think it'll be cool. And like you said, I'm pretty amazed at how many people were, amenable to coming on and doing that. This weekend will be our first one of those.
Nice. I was actually surprised quite a bit by how many people were interested in the podcast and in general. And then like, I actually thought nobody would be interested in the War Dragons content at all whatsoever at this point. But surprisingly enough, I think that's where most of our current listeners actually want to hear about stuff from.
Hard to tell at this point, right? But
right.
It seems like we're getting some decent engagement on stuff that's totally unrelated to War Dragons, which is pretty cool as well. But I used to listen to the podcast and I loved it, and everyone that I talked to was like, yeah, I can't wait for another one.
Nice. Give what they want.
Exactly. It's a fun thing,
Right?
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
I mean, I don't have to do anything anymore. It's great.
Yeah, we might have to change that at some point, Mr. I mean, come on, man. A little help here.
Oh boy, yeah. So for everybody that doesn't know what we're talking about, it's the whole editing portion of it. Like I have done 0 this time around, and I think my my ploy of putting it off on my equipment and my attention span and all that stuff is starting to wear a little thin, and maybe not be believed as much as I thought it would be. But yeah,
now that our main editing tool is in a web browser, it's kind of hard to argue that your equipment can't handle it.
Can you do it from an iPad? I wonder if you can. No. No, it didn't agree with the iPad at all. No, I remember I tried to log in once and it said I didn't like it.
I mean, that laptop is just kind of like a folding iPad.
It's kind of
like an iPad with a keyboard,
Yeah, maybe.
It's the same thing. Kind of.
Maybe.
Kind of.
I was telling you earlier. I don't have I broke my mouse. I have a new one in the package. I'm gonna have to break out of the package, and that probably helps. I'm sure.
Yeah, it does.
There's a little thing on the I don't know, little touchpad thing probably doesn't work so good.
The little nipple eraser thing.
Yeah. No. I don't. No, it's not an IBM. My buddy had one of those things. I remember that. Yeah. No, it's just I don't know. No, it's just a flat thing with 2 buttons on it.
I kind of enjoy fondling the little nipple.
Right?
Sorry.
No, I never had one of those.
To me, it was more natural in a lot of ways than backpad. And the real reason for that is I didn't set sensitivity and, some of the other things and learn some of the finger gestures. But, hey, whatever. Better than a mouse.
I mean, I remember like the old one that had like that rubber ball in the thing that would get all the crap in it. And you'd have to clean it out. And
I can't believe how many people they're like, my mouse doesn't work. And I'd be like, oh, click, dump, clean the shit out, put it back in there. Like, oh my gosh, it's like brand new. I'm like, yeah, you do have to clean them every once in a while.
Right. You were suggesting to me to get one with a wire on it, which is probably a good idea. Yeah, I mean, the wireless is nice, but
it is, but running out of batteries is, that's the big thing, right?
Right.
It's always going to be at the worst possible time.
Of course.
And then, there's some latency in them, right? So if you're doing things like editing, etc., that can become annoying.
Yeah, I never even thought about that aspect, but yeah, you're probably right. I mean, there is a reason why we choose to not have wireless headphones. So.
Yep, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
See, it doesn't seem like a big deal, if you're just working on something or, browsing the web, etc. But when you need to be pretty precise and fine-tuned, yeah, it can get you real bad. It's like one of those Chinese, dubbed movies there. I am domestic.
You're pretty good at that. You're pretty good at that. Wow.
A lot of practice, man. A lot of practice.
I see that. I see that one becoming a short.
And a one too. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Still wish there's got to be someone that's in contact with that guy. We got to at least see if we can get him.
Yeah, we'll have to send out some leads looking for him. I sent him a message a while ago. He didn't. I mean, he read it. He didn't really respond. I don't know. Maybe he's busy. He's a busy guy, I'm sure.
Yeah. It's all good.
Yeah, no, I mean, no hard feelings, nothing. I'd love to talk to him again.
Yeah, it would be cool. Maybe even KD.
Maybe.
Might have to apply a bunch of pressure. Still trying to get him to come to Alpaca.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I told him, hey, man, I have great... Well, I didn't tell him. I told... See, that's the thing, right? But I told people, I'm like, I have great bourbon. And the message came back, oh, yeah, really? What? And so I started listing it off, and he came back. He goes, oh, yeah, that's good stuff. I'm like, yeah, of course.
How about that cognac? You got a bottle of that stuff?
Don't right now. We have finished off the bottle of Louis, so there's no cognac in the house. Not looking forward to spending that kind of money on a bottle of alcohol anytime real soon, but that stuff's it's life changing, right? Kind of. If you enjoy sipping on alcohol, it really is. It's not like anything you've ever had. It's pretty insanely good.
It's not like MD 2020 or nothing. It's not.
It's pretty close. It's pretty close.
Pretty close.
A little more refined.
Nice. I am no expert by any means, but I've heard good things.
You never did MD 2020 or Boone's Farm when you were growing up?
No, but when I was one of my first jobs is working at the Food Lion grocery store. People would, mostly the teenagers would run in and steal that stuff and jet out the back door with it.
Yep. And probably because nobody really cared too much.
Yeah, no, nobody ever chased them, and it was like, oh, hey.
We just lost $3. Oh, no.
Oh, man.
Terrible.
Yeah, I mean,
hangovers.
I'd imagine it's probably full of nasty stuff that would leave you feeling bad in the morning.
Artificial flavorings up the yang.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Food dyes and coloring and tons of sugar, which is always a recipe for disaster if you're drinking.
Good to know.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about that too much.
Speaking about sugar, like this is interesting. So we actually went through our spices the other day, found more stuff that has hidden sugar in it because we're trying to get healthier and change the stuff we eat and even the names that it's you got like dextrose, maltodextrin, cornstarch. Besides just regular sugar and all that stuff, elevates your blood sugar, and we had no idea it was even there.
Yeah, some of that's just anti-caking agent.
Yeah,
I was I don't remember when, but I was looking at spices at one point, and there was this fancy pepper. Pepper, but it had sugar in it.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, why in the hell is there sugar in pepper?
Yeah, seasoned salt has sugar in it. Yep. Go figure.
Yep.
A lot of the meat seasonings have sugar in them. We actually we ate that package of bacon that you had left here when you were on vacation, and I'm pretty sure there was sugar in that because we got a elevated blood sugar reading from that too. My wife did.
Yeah, you have to watch bacon and ham, things like that, because a lot of the times what they'll do is they'll use sugar as well to cure it, to keep the salt down.
Right? I think that's probably what happened.
Yeah. So you'll even see hams, labeled as cured, but they're not really, they don't taste like sugar. They still taste salty, but not as salty as, salt cured ham. Yeah. So I remember I had a buddy that was allergic to corn, of all things.
Actually, the girl that at the farm that we buy our goat milk from, she has a corn allergy too.
Oh wow! Yeah, I'd never even heard of a corn allergy before. I
hadn't either.
We were doing a barbecue and trying to find anything that didn't have some form of corn. High fructose corn syrup, corn starch, corn meal, corn, whatever the heck. It's like, dude, it's in your bread. It's in everything.
Everything. Right.
Yeah. So that was pretty eye-opening for me, I think.
Yep.
I think so. Kind of like the peanut allergy thing. I remember growing up and going to school. There weren't. I didn't know anyone. I'd never even heard of a peanut allergy, and nowadays it's common enough that they like ask kids not, parents not to peanut butter and jelly sandwiches or send them there with peanuts or anything like that, right? I kind of think the introduction of, peanuts in a lot of things, peanut oils and stuff like that, probably, had some impact on that. And it's my own opinion. I don't have anything to base this on other than, just kind of correlates, right? But correlation does not equal causation. So I know. But it's interesting because, then shortly after that, we went to corn being additives for pretty much everything. And now I'm hearing about people with corn allergies. And it's like, this guy's like, if I don't have my EpiPen or I don't get to a hospital like real quick, I'll die,
Yeah.
And it's like, it's corn, man.
All right.
So, again, correlation does not equal causation, but it's pretty interesting. We start pumping this stuff into people like it's, your primary source of food. And next thing you know, bodies are going, no, can't take it anymore.
Yeah, I mean that's also part of the reason. I mean, besides the cost that we don't go out to dinner very much because you have no clue what's being put in your food. I mean you have no idea to even know.
Yeah. And Italian places are really bad about that.
I'm sure.
Most sauces will have sugar in them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it may not be much, but there's still sugar in there. And if that's something you need to watch, then, you're kind of screwed.
All right. I mean, I was telling you the story. I don't think I told it on here, but when we got back from visiting you for alpaca, we, got in late and we didn't feel like cooking. So which we never do. We said, well, let's get a pizza. So we got a pizza and holy crap. Like, yeah, my wife's blood sugar lived like through the roof.
Like 400 or something.
Yeah, I was like 300 something, I think, almost 400. I was like, holy crap! And it hasn't been that high in a long time. And she's got that the little arm, the continuous monitor, which helps find a lot of these things that we had no idea. And we were just both very, very surprised that, and she didn't even eat that much. It's like one piece did that. So
it's pretty amazing what I mean. It makes a lot of sense, right? It's the fuel, right?
Right.
But it's pretty amazing how impactful, just a meal or even a snack can be to your overall body health, And
it happens quickly too. It's not like a couple hours later. It was like almost instantly, like within 15 minutes, I would say.
Yeah, and people that don't have, necessarily medical issues with that, right? Tend to think, oh, well, it's, I'm not, diabetic. I don't have anything like that, or whatever the case is, sensitivity to sugar. But the problem is that reaction still occurs in your body.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter whether your body can do, its thing to, kind of be okay with that. It's still creating that reaction. And in general, those reactions aren't good for you.
No. I mean, the body's pretty amazing. The stuff that it can handle. I think just overloading it with that stuff time after time after time is what kind of makes a lot of people go towards that diabetic road. I in my opinion, I'm not medical nothing, but and again, it's reversible. All that stuff is reversible if you change your diet too. I mean, we're kind of going through that. We're not experts or anything. It's made a tremendous amount of difference in our lives for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And if you look at the fit people in the world, that's a key ingredient to how they get there and how they stay there.
True.
And they tend to be fairly healthy, which is interesting. Imagine that you eat healthy food and take care of yourself, and for some reason you are healthy. It's weird.
Yeah, eating healthier is definitely more difficult in finding the stuff, and the affordability of it, it's certainly more expensive to eat healthier for whatever reason.
Yeah, which is just mind-boggling to me. You can go out and get food that, has just so many, it's ultra processed. It's got so many different chemicals and
right.
Dyes and flavorings in it. And it's like, this is less expensive than the food that has none of that stuff. And it makes no sense to me,
You would think that the process of creating whatever that was would be more expensive, but it's more expensive just to have the unadulterated single ingredient. It makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, and it's insane. And you want to talk about having trouble eating healthy, try traveling for business. You walk into an airport, there's not a whole lot in the way of healthy options. You go to a hotel, not a whole lot of healthy options. You basic salad. Okay, so it's interesting, but few tips and tricks, and you can get there and do pretty well. Usually, you can get steamed vegetables, and they'll be happy to substitute those for something else. And chicken breast, you can get a steak or whatever, and just tell them just put salt and pepper on it, nothing else. Maybe some butter, but you have to be that kind of special person. Or like I say, and apologies, ladies, this isn't meant as a dig, but you kind of have to be the chick, Like I'm watching this stuff because females tend, at least historically, have tended, in my experience, to be a little bit more conscious about what they're putting in their bodies, because they want to maintain, a figure or whatever the case is. Again, generalization there, and it's not true for everyone by any stretch, but and then you get a guy there and they're like, yeah, I want this, chicken, but I don't want the sauce. And can you just season it with salt and pepper? And instead of the potatoes, can you give me steamed vegetables and, no sauce, just plain steamed vegetables. I'll put a little salt and pepper on them myself. And, you're doing all this and people look at you like, dude, where's your skirt?
Right.
Sorry.
No, I mean, well, I don't know. Yeah. What's that?
If anyone has any issues with what I just said, please leave a comment. Let us know. We'll be happy to address it in the comments.
You could be happy to address those comments.
I'm Wee, by the way. My new name is Wee.
But anyway, no, it's you do run into the situation. So, like in my own personal case, I've lost quite a bit of weight. I was pretty heavy there for a while, and but then people start asking you, how did you do it? And you tell them, but nobody wants to actually do it. It's kind of weird. They would like to duplicate those results, but nobody really wants to actually. I mean, they'll listen to you, but they don't actually want to implement any of those changes in their own life. It's kind of weird. I mean, some of them, are difficult. Like we don't eat bread anymore. I miss bread. I like bread a lot. We don't eat it anymore, like at all. That one time, with the pizza thing, like that was just a rare exception. We haven't had bread, since then. It's been like 6 months.
It seems to me that, most people are looking for that instant fix or the no work solution, right? Give me a shot, give me a pill, whatever the case is. They don't want to, actually make meaningful changes. And I get it. Like you said, bread, and we've cut that out as well. And that is a tough one, right? I mean, that, cutting carbs out in general is a very difficult thing to do. And then when you cut sugars out on top of that, it's an uncomfortable feeling for a good 30 days. There's no question about it. Your body is like, hey, and we want this stuff. We really, really want it. Don't you need some energy right now? Come on, little spike. And it's difficult, but once you get through it, at least for me, I feel a lot better.
For me, it's weird because I was like a pizza and McDonald's kind of guy, and like that's all the crap that I would eat. Right. But when you cut that out, and the sugars especially, I think it does change the way that you perceive things, because I actually like vegetables now, and I was not a vegetable person ever. Like, I never ate them as a kid. I wasn't forced to eat them. Like I was very, I mean, it's hilariously like how picky I was. Like, I would never eat them. And now I like them, and I look forward to eating them. It's weird for sure.
Yeah. I guess I'm kind of weird like that, or lucky, or I don't know what the case is, but I've always kind of really enjoyed vegetables. Some not so much, but in general, I enjoy vegetables. So I don't know.
I mean, I'm not into all of them yet, but I mean, I'm willing to try at least. And then you get the people out there like, "Hey, who are you to tell us what to eat? Or you're puffing on your vape over there."
Oh yeah. Well, the vape probably saved my life. To be honest with you, I ended up in the doctor's office because I was having a lot of trouble breathing. Kind of like having to gasp to catch my breath, and they sent me to a pulmonologist, and they did a pulmonary function test, or PFT. They put you in this room with this mask on, and they make you do this breathing stuff, etc. And I think I was like at, I want to say 85 or something percent function, which is bad. That's not good. And he said, well, I want you to come back for another appointment. We want to do some more testing. And they had seen like a dark spot on my x-ray, my lungs. And, he's like, we want to get a better picture because, this is concerning to me. And obviously, that's kind of a, oh shit moment. You know what I mean? So talked to a buddy of mine that was vaping, and he told me, hey man, just go do this, and don't get one of those cheap ones. Don't do any of that. Get a good one, solid, blah, blah, blah. So I did, started vaping, and it's the only thing. I had tried hypnosis. I had tried patches, gum, lozenges, freaking patches with gums, with lozenges, I'd tried all sorts of stuff to try and get off of those things. And, I'd had some moderate, I guess, success, temporary success, but I always went back. And the funny thing is, through all those times when I did quit, if I walked by someone smoking, it just was like, oh, that smells so good. Like me walking by a bakery right now. Oh, that smells so good. Once I started vaping, about a month later, I was walking by some people smoking, and it was like, it smelled disgusting.
Really?
Anyway, went back in for my PFT the second time and was at 97%. He goes,
oh, wow, that's a huge improvement.
Yeah. And he goes, and when I went in the first time, when I was breathing, it was, you could hear wheezing, like loud type stuff,
Yeah.
And so went back in 97%, and he goes, what did you do? And I said, well, I quit smoking and went to vaping. He goes, well, just keep doing that then. It's, again, if you feel different about this, you have an opinion about it, please comment and let us know. We'll have a discussion. If you want to come on and have a discussion about it, let us know. We might be amenable to doing that. But my opinion on vaping is this: if you are a smoker, this is, in my opinion, the best way to get off of cigarettes. And if you are a non-smoker, don't start this crap. Why would you want to? For what purpose does this serve for you, other than getting you hooked on something you really don't need to be doing? It's not that it's not harmful, right? I'm not ever going to say that. This is not good for you. But comparatively, it is way better for you. And big benefit, at least to date, I have never seen a single study that says that there's anything impactful to the people around you when you vape. So you're not giving other kids cancer and stuff like that. And I try and be pretty respectful and not be too over the top around people, especially if I'm around people that, aren't like friends that know I vape. And if friends say something, I try and be, fairly respectful of it,
I mean, it doesn't bother me at all. And I don't do it, but it kind of smells like candy a little bit, maybe something like that. But
Yeah,
I mean, it's not offensive or anything to me.
That is one area that apparently I didn't know about, but I've seen some information on it that a lot of the vape juices do contain, sugars.
Oh, I would imagine they do. They smell like it anyway.
Yeah, and so there have been people that had insulin response issues.
Really?
That were finding out that they were kind of screwing themselves by vaping. Now, they do make vapes that don't have sugars in them, so if that is an issue for you, there are resources out there. Best darn thing that I've ever found, as far as not being on cigarettes anymore, and I'll take that win. It's not a total win because, yes, I'm still doing this, but it's a big win over where I was.
No, that's great. I agree with that. I mean, it's certainly the better option, I believe.
Yeah, without question. I mean, when a pulmonologist tells you to keep doing what you're doing, and don't get me wrong, he's not advocating for people to go out and vape, right?
Right.
But at the same time, at least in my situation, it was like, if you keep smoking these things, you're going to die. I mean, we all die eventually, but you're going to die a slow, ugly suffocation death, and it's not going to be fun.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like fun, like at all.
I still think it's a good idea, though. The whole idea of doing the, Wives of War Dragons junkies or something episode.
Yeah, no, I think she'd probably be down for that. I'll see why not. She kind of scares me a little bit.
Well, she's your wife. She should.
Yeah, probably.
That's how it goes, right?
Yeah, no, every time I had her on the podcast in the past, it was everybody liked her more than me, and I just almost kind of gave the whole thing to her. I probably
some of that's in your head.
maybe. I don't think so.
Well, she's a very likable person, right? So is my wife. I imagine people will probably just be like, "Can you two just get out and just let them do this?"
That's probably what will happen.
Yeah, my wife has no interest in doing that, and I doubt yours does either.
No, I mean she came on for me, and I think that's probably the only reason. She just didn't really seem to have an interest in any of it. I don't know. She's listened to a couple of these things, and she's like, they're okay. Like, that's it.
I think my wife will feel about the same. If I can talk her into it, that'll be the only reason she would do it,
You said you got her to watch one of these things with you, right?
We watched one, and she's like, "Well, can we watch another one?"
Oh, she enjoyed it then.
She did.
Really?
She laughed. She was like, "That's funny." She had a good time. She was like, "That's pretty cool."
Oh, that's good. Yeah,
so far,
that's awesome.
A lot of good feedback from people. People seem to really enjoy it. I think there's a lot of room for polishing, right?
I think there's a lot of room for polishing.
And we'll get there, right? But at the same time, I kind of like the real aspect of it, It's as real as it gets, people. This isn't, there's no studio back here, you know what I mean? There's no green screen. We're not trying to fake something that isn't. This is real. So it's kind of refreshing, I think, as opposed to a big set and crud like that.
I mean, we could just like be one of those people and talk about all the garbage that they talk about all day on all these other ones. You know what it is. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I don't think I want to do that either. I'm kind of happy with the, somewhat long form, just conversation. We talk about whatever seems to come up, etc.
We talk about our garden and our animals and our beautiful wives and all the good things in life.
The most amazing part of life, right? Speaking of beautiful animals, oh my gosh, the horses, now that they're shedding, because for those of you that don't know, in the winter, horses will grow a very long fuzzy coat. Not like very long, but...
I did not know that.
Yeah, and it actually will change their color. So I have my horse is a buckskin, right? So he's got darker legs, they kind of fade up, and he's, kind of a brownish color. In the winter, he gets his longer coat, and he turns close to white, right? Very, very, very close to white. I think kind of a light beige color. And then as he sheds, we shed rake him, try and get their fur off. He turns into this. I just think he's gorgeous right now. All of them are. All of them. Beautiful. Dora, for some reason, got really dark this summer. So, I don't know, she must be working on her tan or something.
I was outside today, not necessarily working on my tan, but holy crap, it's getting hot outside. I think it got up to like 91 or 92 today.
This is why I don't want to come after March.
I don't blame you. I don't want to be here after March.
It's too hot, man. I totally understand that I don't like cold weather, but cold weather, I could put a jacket on and I'm okay. I'm comfortable. 90 something, there's no getting comfortable. You just not. You can be in shorts. You are uncomfortable and sweating and all the other stuff. The other bonus to winter, all the mosquitoes are dead.
That's true.
It's kind of a nice thing.
Yeah, our garden's starting to get a little crispy. We had to put up the sunshade still. I don't know. It's struggling a little bit.
Yeah.
The bugs are coming in.
Only so much you can do when the air itself is hot. When the higher the humidity, the more the air is actually kind of the problem. Right?
I'm getting blackberries hand over fist though. Those are good.
Ooh, yummy. Ours started blooming. Beautiful big white flowers. Berries and clusters. I can't wait, man. It's not too long from now.
Yeah, it's weird. There's just a little bit difference, there's those climates.
Yeah, we've got kiwis growing now, a bunch of grapevines. The strawberries are going nuts right now, so we should see strawberries ripe pretty soon. The plums are great. Apples, they all bloomed a while ago. We should start to see apples coming up soon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's been pretty good. And that grow tent that we have, man, that thing's awesome. Hey, we just we started plants last weekend, and normally there are certain seeds and things it takes 7-10 days to germinate, right? Literally everything came up in like 3 days, 4 days inside of there. Yeah, being able to control the temperature and the humidity and having not constant, but having the light source be, reliable, consistent, made a really huge difference. This is an ice maker, and right now I hear it. You won't on the podcast, but this thing picks up. I can hear someone talking upstairs in another room with this thing. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, I can hear her out there doing stuff. I think the noise canceling software takes care of most of that stuff, though.
It does.
Yeah, which is a good thing.
Yeah, it does.
Thankfully.
Good job. Yeah, no kidding. Because I can't imagine if I had to sit there and edit that out by hand, we wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't. I'd just be like, yeah, no, it's too much of a pain in the ass. I'm not doing it.
I'll have to try to assist with the editing stuff. I'll try to work on that.
Yeah, right now it's okay.
Okay,
we'll see. I'll get you to do some other stuff.
Oh boy.
Start pimping you out, try and get guests on
public appearances where shake hands and sign autographs, and
we're gonna put you in a Borat mankini, right?
Right.
Flyers, because flyers are how you attract people, right, to the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, good sir. Have you heard the good news about the interwebs? In a mankini. Oh my gosh, that would be so hilarious.
I'm sure my neighbors would love that too.
Right?
Maybe I can go door to door, like, hey.
Oh. No. Oh man, that's it. They'd be calling the cops. No problem.
I'm sure they would. I'm sure they would.
He's lost it. He's definitely lost it this time.
This time, right?
Yeah.
No, I try to keep it low key, as least of interaction as possible.
Right. I am really excited about the getting some additional people on. And
yeah, me too.
Like I had mentioned, this coming week or next week, we will be releasing our first guest appearance with. Well, I guess our first release was with a guest appearance, but it was all of us in the same room. This next coming week, we will be releasing our first appearance. We're going to have Willy Wonka from War Dragons on the show. That should be a fun conversation.
I'm sure all of our 6 subscribers are like, holy crap, I couldn't wait to get somebody else besides you two goofballs on there. We're tired of listening to you.
Right. No, I think it'll be nice, right? And I'm going to start asking other people as well. Yeah, see who we can get on. Who cares?
It's exciting.
Worst case, they say no. I might even call up or send an email to Tucker Carlson. Be like, hey, come on, let's talk.
There you go.
I won't ever get a response. Like, who? No, we're not doing that. I don't really have any interest in him being on. But I wouldn't, honestly, well, let me take that back. It would be an interesting conversation, but that's not the goal here. But, some other folks from different areas, different walks of life might get some homesteaders, see if I can get them on. Who knows, right? Maybe some gaming channels, I don't know, whatever. We'll see what we can do. Maybe some activists or something, or I don't care. Just people to have conversation with. And more along the lines of, when I mention people like this, it's not, I guess for me, I don't necessarily want to just go and rehash the stuff that they constantly talk about. It would be more along the lines of, let's get to know you. Let's talk. Who are you? Right? A lot of people spend a lot of time talking about their thing, right? Whatever their niche is, and you don't ever really get to know the person. Like, who are they? What are they? What's their likes, their desires? Blah stuff, hobbies, general interests.
Oh, that's a great idea.
I think so. I think it'd be fun.
I'm sure people are getting to know us.
Yeah.
The more we do this, the more they will know.
Send one out to Joe Rogan.
I don't listen to any of that stuff. I don't know. I mean, I know who he is. I've seen clips here and there, but
I like to listen to podcasts, especially, I've said previously in other episodes, go check them out. I like to listen to them when I'm doing stuff. If I'm gardening, I'm planting, I'm on the tractor doing stuff, or just feeding the animals and stuff like that. I'll put one earbud in, kind of tune into a podcast and listen to it. Yeah, I enjoy it.
You should put it on overhead speakers. Let the animals enjoy it too.
I don't think so. They don't. Yeah, they're not real into it. They will listen to music here and there, though. It's pretty funny. They'll come check it out. Like, hey, what is this? What's going on over here?
Nice.
Yeah, especially the horses. The horses and the goats. Really super inquisitive. Yeah, kind of fun.
I wouldn't mind having goats. I mean, if we had more property.
Oh, goats are amazing. They're so fun. They can certainly be a pain at times, but for the most part, they're fun. They're fun to be around. They do silly stuff. Goats are just silly. They're very, very silly animals.
Yeah, once you get past like the eyeball thing, that's a little bit weird at first. Like they got the sideways slitty eyes and stuff, but they're cute.
They were made so. It's a thing. I actually met a guy at one point. I walked into, what was I doing? I think it was an auto parts store, specialty. I think it was for my Cobra. At one point, I had a heavily modified Cobra, Mustang Cobra, and I went in there to get something. I can't remember what it was, but guy was looking down at a parts book or something. I came in and started talking to him about what I needed, and he looked up at me, and his eyes were like that. He had the
really
eyes, and I was like, "Whoa!" I'm like, "Are those contacts?" He goes, "No, dude." He goes, it's kind of a genetic condition or something. I mean, he didn't say that. He told me what it was, but I don't recall exactly. It's apparently very rare. That took me back. I was like, "Whoa!"
I'm sure he probably gets that a lot.
Oh yeah.
Well, no, he's good that he can roll with it at least.
Well, I imagine he's, if it's something that's been going on your entire freaking life,
all right,
you either get real good at it or you self-isolate, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I guess you just don't know unless you're in their shoes.
It was.
I don't know that I would handle it that well.
Yeah, it was freaky. It was a little off-putting, right? But then, talking with him, he was a nice guy, very cool person, very helpful. Just it was challenging for me. I felt uncomfortable. I guess,
right.
That's me, right? And he did nothing wrong. He was a great guy. No issue. Nothing about him was off-putting at all, except looking, when you talk to someone, you look in their eyes, and when it makes it difficult. I wanted to avoid eye contact while I was talking to him, which is really weird,
Yeah, no, I picture myself in that position, and I mean, maybe it's just my personality, but I'd be like, what are you looking at? That's how I would respond, I guess. I don't know. Like, I don't want to be like that, but that's just how I would do it.
Yeah. No, it was
not that he can take it, like, and he's not like aggressive about, that whole. But like you said, you deal with that your whole life. You have to adapt.
I would think so. Yeah, it wouldn't make sense otherwise, right? I mean, kind of hard to have something like that and walk around with a chip on your shoulder for the rest of your life, especially if you're in kind of a service industry, right? What are you going to do? Just push customers away? Probably not a good idea.
Reason number 237 why I'm not in the service industry. I suppose.
Yeah. People. Reason number 1, people. Reason number 2, people.
See, I don't want to be like that. I want to be nice and
nice.
Cordial. I try.
You are. We were going to talk about that this time. We'll have to save that. We'll throw a segment on that. That'll be a part of the session. Heck, we can talk about it now. Yeah, I don't know what it is about you and myself, but literally jerk magnets. And I mean, in a big freaking way. We went up to Pennsylvania one time. Well, we more than once. My wife's parents were from there, and we're staying at a hotel, and went down to the bar to have a couple beers or whatever. We had gotten in, long drive, right? About 9 hours. So went down to have a little beer. We're sitting there, and it's myself, my wife, and our oldest, and some guy sitting at the bar at some point. We're talking, etc. And he kind of comes around my wife and oldest, and sits next to me, start talking to me, and I'm like, okay, what's going on here? At one point, he turns to me and goes, "You know what?" And I'm like, "No, what?" He goes, "We need to go out back and just fight." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, we just need to go fight. We have to fight." And I'm like, "I'm not, look, man, I'm not doing that. What the hell is this?" And then literally later that night, we're at a bar, restaurant and bar, right? And we're eating some food with my wife's brother and his wife. And some guy over at the bar is just like mad dogging me, just like, I don't know what the hell's going on. I haven't done anything. I just keep looking over. I go walk into the bathroom. He steps in front of me. And he's like, puts his finger in my chest. And next thing you know, he wants to go out and fight me. And I'm like, what is it about me that makes people want to get into a physical altercation with me?
I'm curious. I mean, if somebody knows, maybe they can let us know. I mean, maybe it's something the way we look. I don't know.
Just a pretty face, man. Why would anyone want?
I've never felt that way towards you. I liked you since the day I met you.
And feelings mutual.
But it seems that like other people seem to not feel that way. I don't understand what it is.
Well, yeah, that one time we were at the sushi place, right? Another prime example.
I feel bad about that.
Why?
I almost got our friend beat up because they thought that I said something. Well, I did say something, but they thought that he said it. And I'm like, no, he didn't say nothing. He's just standing there. But, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I don't think I carry myself like I'm trying to pick a fight with anybody. I don't know.
No, I've never once felt that at all. And I don't think I do, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. And yeah. I'm sure you've got your own jerk magnet stories, right?
Oh, yeah, tons of them.
Oh, yeah? Let's hear one.
Oh, you're putting me on the spot. I don't know.
Come on, give it up.
I don't know, man. It's just like, like like the last time I went to the DMV, it didn't go very well.
Oh yeah. How so?
Well, it was like in the height of the COVID thing, and I was not happy to begin with. Not that I really cared about that, but they make you go through this whole rigmarole to get in there. You got to get your temperature taken. You got to wear this mask. They're handed out masks at the thing, and I don't know. Maybe I was being the jerk, and they're all behind these plexiglass floor to ceiling windows, and then my wife couldn't come in. She's usually like my restrainer from interacting with people. She's like, she kind of takes care of that stuff, but they wouldn't let her in because she didn't actually have any business there. And I don't know, just something hit me wrong. I guess this was not a me story. It wasn't really. I don't know, but they're like, all right, take the mask off so I can take your picture. I'm like, man, you just maybe jump through all them hoops just to get in here, and now you're like, oh, just take it off. Just, that's stupid.
I agree. I think.
And the next thing I know, like the dude must have hit his like security button. I get he disappears somewhere behind there. I get the security guy next to me, the armed security guy, and he's like, he doesn't want to deal with you anymore. I'm like, what? He's like, what happened? I'm like, nothing happened. I was just, I want to pay and get out of here.
I came in here to accomplish something. I'd like to do that and leave.
Right? So, dude, I showed you the picture of my license. I was not happy that day. It was a me. It was a me thing. All right, I'm not even going to put that one on anybody else. That was a me thing.
Yeah, I think there were a lot of external influences on that one.
Maybe.
Let's all be honest, right? Nobody enjoys going to the DMV.
No.
If you do, leave a comment because I want to know, because I've never heard of anyone enjoying the DMV. Like, yay, I get to go to the DMV. It's a terrible experience.
It was horrible.
If it were a private company, it would have been out of business a very long time ago because nobody would go there.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, that's how that sort of thing tends to be.
I think I got another 4 years or something before I have to go back, which I'm not looking forward to.
I think it's 28 when I have to get a new one.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully they'll send me a new one. I'm a fairly, moderate driver and not getting tickets and stuff like that. Typically, hopefully, cross my fingers because I really detest that place.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't have a better story than that. That's just the one that popped in my head.
You'll have to think on it, and this weekend we'll do it.
I'll think about it.
But yeah, to be quite honest, just going to the DMV right off the bat, I'm already at the height of annoyment. So it's not going to take anything, just something tiny out of place, and I'm just not going to be having a good time at all. And usually when that happens, people around me tend to notice.
Maybe we're just jerks, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, maybe. Okay, all right. But I was just drinking a beer in a bar, man, and fight. No, I don't want to fight. Again, having a meal in a bar. I'm not even near the guy. I'll go to the bathroom, and he's like, "You're gonna fight." I'm like, "Oh, I'm not gonna fight. Just go away." Why? Maybe it's Pennsylvania. I don't know. But no, it's happened. It's happened all over the place for me, and just everywhere. That at concerts, I actually got sucker punched in the back and from behind at a concert once. Yeah.
Do you remember what concert it was?
Jamie Johnson. Of course I know.
Really?
Yeah, well, we were up, it was just open floor, kind of a honky-tonk place. And we were kind of up in the crowd, about, 7 people back from the stage, because not rows or anything, right?
Yeah.
Some dude comes up and he starts trying to push through me, and I pushed back, right? I'm just trying to enjoy the show. And then he tried again, and I pushed even harder with my elbow. Dude, stop. Not a word, nothing. Later on, into the night, the show had just ended, lights had just come on, and then all of a sudden, doink, and I turned around, and the guy was looking there, and his jaw was just like oh, crap. And I just reached out and I managed to just get like my middle finger hooked around his t-shirt, and I was holding it. Like 3 or 4 people just grabbed me and they were like, dude, stop it. They're gonna come after you if you do anything. And then my wife went chasing after him, ended up grabbing his shirt and ripping it off and stuff like that. And then we got bounced out of the place. And I'm like, the guy came up and sucker punched me. Turns out he was trying to get to his wife, which, you know what, I feel a little bit bad about that, but all he would have to do is tap me on the shoulder and go, hey man, my wife's right there, can I get by? And I would have been like, totally cool, not a problem. But instead he just wanted to try and go blunt force straight through me. And of course I'm not going to allow that, right? And then he came and pulled the full bitch move and literally sucker punched me from behind.
That sucks.
Yeah, but that's the kind of crap that I deal with. And it's like, okay, maybe I was kind of a jerk for, pushing back, but at the same time, really? Am I supposed to just let people roll through me all the time? No. Again, just tap on the shoulder. Hey, man, my wife's right up there. Can I get by you? I'd open like, go, man. I would even tap the guy in front of me and said, hey, can you use this guy?
Yeah, no, I need to work on things too. The whole... They ask for your shirt, give them your coat too. I like it. Should I? Probably. But when it comes down to it, I have a hard time with it. And, that's a me problem.
Well, there's always a flip side to everything. Sell your cloak and buy a sword. Just saying. Just saying.
Anyway. So, all right. This next episode is going to be have a guest. I'm excited. Sounds good.
It'll be fun. Yeah, it'll be fun. He's got some cool experiences that'll be fun to talk through, and
nice.
He's a pretty funny guy.
I've never met him, so it's going to be all new for me.
Awesome. Well, hopefully we don't bring anyone on that you are like, I can't. I hope there's nobody that's really like that.
I don't think so. I mean, of course we had confrontations in the game, but whatever's in the game, at least stays in the game, kind of.
It's a game. I'm mad at your pixels, not you.
Yeah, no, I have zero. Well, I mean, not that I can think of animosity towards anybody that I can recall. I'm sure maybe at the time that I did, I don't know, but.
Even that Odin guy. Nice. Might even try and get him on. That'd be pretty funny.
That would be pretty funny. I had nothing against. I mean, he's just, to me, he's a younger guy, kid. I tried to help him out.
Look, he helped me out quite a bit, learning to fly in the beginning days, and I have immense respect for that, right? And like I said, it's the pixels, some jerky things in game, but I mean, it's a game. The idea of it was conquest. So what are you going to be mad for someone conquesting that's based on conquest? Okay, I guess. I mean, what the heck,
Right.
So that's kind of the attitude I'm taking towards all this, because it just, it was a game, and like we've said before, the community, the camaraderie that we had, even if it was opposition, a lot of the times it was just fun. We had a good time. Then they're good people.
Right. I mean, I've been accused many times, and the team that I was on that we were bullies, and I don't believe that's true. I believe we were actually building character.
I do too. Here's your character. We're going to hand out some more. Yeah, I hope you like character, because you're going to get a lot of character.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I was glad that I was on a certain side of that whole thing and not the other side, the receiving end of the character building.
Yes, same. For the most part. I mean, hey, if I could get, like I had said, Freak and Purple, I'd have both of those guys on. And talk to them, even though they munched us a few times. And I was, at the time, uncomfortable, and I was very unhappy about it. But again, it's pixels, man. I don't care. Freak's actually a pretty cool dude. You remember him, right? Freak from PHR?
I remember the name, yeah. I don't know him personally.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. He's a really cool guy.
Actually, we might have chatted a few times. I don't know. Like, my memory's not that great, I guess. Maybe I blocked out some of that stuff.
I still to this day remember because the way the alliances were formed and everything else. And I remember Ghost at one point put out a call to KD. Ghost was like, we need help. And he was like, we'll take care of it.
Nice.
2 minutes later, JL's sitting there with a, taunter on the castle. All of a sudden, PHR is nowhere to be found.
That worked out pretty well then, huh?
It did. It was
nice.
Fun. It was the most. I think at that point you guys pulled us into your 5 as well, because of all that mess, and it was probably one of the few times that your alliance chat was dead. I mean, quiet. Nobody talked in there.
Really?
Yeah, I think Katie made a point of saying, guys, we're doing this, and here's why. Don't go in there and don't talk, don't respond, just leave it alone. Don't talk to the plebes. We're helping them, but,
I don't know about
plebes.
that. I don't remember any of that. Business got handled, though. I'm sure.
It did.
Nice.
And to be honest with you, I really do believe, once Dredd decided it was done, we won, which uncontested. Let's just be honest. There was a very clear victory as far as it goes. The game really, really changed, and my opinion went way downhill. That and pirates.
Pirates are
nasty pirates.
We should probably do a shout out to our friend Ghost, who made an awesome video for the they're having a contest for the 10-year anniversary.
Yep.
And their submission for that it's pretty good.
Yeah, and
it's a music video parody.
Yep, and for anyone that wants to, Ghost is awesome. Does drawings and stuff and puts them together, animates them, and singing and musical stuff, and really, really awesome. A lot of content. And YouTube, the name is Ghostwriter419. I'll go ahead and leave a link to the latest video in the description. Check it out. It's 8 minutes long. It's really cool. It's fun. There's some description at the end of the video, as well as in the description. There's a link where you can go and look at some information. I'll tell you a little bit about the video. Doesn't give it all away. But yeah, big shout out to Ghost.
Be aware you'll probably get a song stuck in your head for the rest of the day after watching it.
Sometimes earworms are pretty awesome.
Anyway, I think that's about all I got for this week.
Next time, we have Willy Wonka on the show.
Nice.
Everybody tune in, check it out. We'll throw out some snippets and some teasers along the way. Hopefully you'll enjoy them. And as always, thank you so much for joining us for however much time you allowed us to take up of your day. And we will be back with more, whatever this is. We don't know.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you.